Hey guys, so here's your stuff for Wednesday the 27th. Warm-up's pretty simple, 3 minutes, as many rounds as possible, jumping jacks like normal, get everything warm out of that, get the shoulders warmed up, make them big, not just like that, right? Those kind of, yeah, you get your heart rate up a little bit, but you're not really getting the shoulders warmed up, you're not really kind of getting the heart rate up as much. Yeah, kettlebell swings, you're going right to the top. So if you have a weight that works, you're doing kettlebell swings always from this is our bottom position where we got our hips back a little bit, and we're just hinging over. We're not squatting down too much, right? And then it's going right up to straight up and down overhead. So if I've got a kettlebell that's the right weight for that, we bring it in. Okay, what I don't want to do is be squatting down like this and kind of trying to pull it up, right? I'm trying to squat it up. I'm trying to hinge here, extend fast, and then just kind of continue that momentum right to straight up and down. I'd say if you have a kettlebell that's too heavy for that, for you, which you probably shouldn't if you've been doing all these workouts with it, but if your kettlebell's a little bit heavy, you could do Russian ones just to here, but so meaning just from here to there, but chances are you got a weight that you can do 10 in a row right up to overhead. Dumbbell, this seems to be the way where people are using the most, is holding like a golf club. Same thing, same position here at the bottom, right? Just a little bit twisted because you got the one hand over the other, but find a way that's comfortable. You can't hold it the other way, but yeah, push-ups right to the floor, keep the body straight, so chest to the floor and all the way up. Elbows should be at a 45, so we're going at this angle and not this angle, and we don't need to have our elbows kind of touching our sides. They can be out a little bit. Imagine that would be our strongest if I were to push something forward, right? So, okay, I know it's warm up and you're not trying to think about form too much in that, but this is where you can kind of think about some things and you're not thinking about your time or whatever. So it's only 5 push-ups. Try to do them proper and not snake your way up and not bring your chest up first. Bring the whole thighs and chest off at the same time, lower at the same time, and then adjust that. Make that easier if you have to. Yeah, so strength. We're going to do some power cleans today. 3 position power cleans just means the 3 starting positions. And power clean just means we're always going to be landing in a little quarter squat. So whenever it says power, we don't squat down all the way. Whenever it says squat clean, obviously you squat. If it doesn't say squat, it usually implies squat as well. So, but for today, every clean is going to be landing in this same quarter squat, elbows up position. Like I've said, kind of most days when we do some barbell stuff, is you can practice this barbell stuff if you want, even if you only have a dumbbell, just to kind of keep the movements fresh. You can kind of do a little bit of kind of a skill warm up with a broomstick at home. But yeah, so the three position, all that means is the 3 starting positions. First position is from the high hang or power position, just a little bit of knee bend and chest up. Second position is from the knee or just above the knee, right? Just above the kneecap, right? And then the third position is from the floor. So where we bring butt and shoulders down together to the ground, right? So the point of this drill is to get all of them looking the same, right? Sometimes people are good in this position, right? They land up here, they're good. Then this one, all of a sudden, they're like landing like this, right? The path of the bar made them change their landing. Same with the third one. There's more things that can go wrong from the floor because there's more positions that you have to hit along the way. So if you screw one of those up, chances are the lift kind of doesn't go as well. Technically though, you should be able to lift more from the ground. You should be able to use all that momentum from the floor than from a static standstill. So if you get things right, the floor should be easier, okay? So let's just go over it. So let's just do a few little progressions here. Power position first, a little bit of knee bend, chest is up, good posture, right? And we're gonna extend and shrug, right? So it's down and finish. Okay, and then we're gonna high pull after that. So those ones, just want to get the bar fast going through this position, through the middle here, right? Then I'm gonna think about high pull. So I'm gonna go down, finished, and then I'm gonna go fast high pull, and I'm trying to think about that bar being close. So it's gonna be, right? I'm trying to avoid, if you watch this bar, it never ends up out here, right? So it's pulling my shirt up almost, because it's close, right? And then basically the bar is gonna get to here, right? Get to about chest height, maybe just under the shoulder. That's the height the bar needs to get to, right? Because I'm gonna be landing in a quarter squat. The bar does not need to get up to here to land on my shoulder, right? Then it's gonna come crashing down on me. So I'm gonna lift the bar to its, right, to a point where it's just gonna stop, and I'm gonna meet it there, right? So it's gonna be, it might come down a little bit with me, but I wanna kind of cradle it down, right? Fast elbows, right? So we wanna be able to have hook grip here, and then as we're loosening that off, we're gonna loosen that hook grip off so that we can land in a good elbow position, right? So I don't want to be holding on so tight to this bar that I can't get my elbows through fast. For me, that's about as far as I can get them when I got hook grip. When I let go of hook grip, I can get more, right? And it's gonna allow me to get through faster. So it's gonna be power position. This first one is the one we're always going through every lift. We kind of go through this position. Okay, then after that, we're going to be doing a one from the knee, right? So we're going to bring the bar down to the high hang again, keeping it close on the way down. Okay, we're kind of in power position before we hinge over to the knee. So I've given that little bit of knee bend first, then I'm going to set my hips back, and that's going to tip me forward. I'm going to stop at the kneecap. When you do this, you won't actually stop at this position, but this is the position I need to be in at the bottom. Okay, from here I'm trying to keep this bar close, staying over the bar for a little bit. Then I'm going to bring my chest up to power position again, and exactly where I was before. And then we do that same lift like we did before. When I do it in real time, I want to go down, up. I don't want to pause at the knee, right? So it'll look like this in real time. When I finish, I've already finished the first power high hang one. Then I'm going to hinge over and back. Right, so I get to use that kind of over back, a little bit of kind of almost like pulling an elastic, loading up the hamstrings and getting them ready to pull back. Okay, and then I'm going to go from the floor. So I'm gonna go through all those positions on the way down and all those positions on the way up. So if I bring the bar down to my high hang, right, a little bit of knee bend, power position first before we do anything else. I'm going to hinge over to the knee like we just did. Right, that's position 2, or the low hang, and then I'm going to keep this angle of my back the same. I'm going to try to keep the bar going down, knees out of the way until the bar passes. Knees come forward a little bit at the bottom, but I've got that same angle of my back. Right, bar is over my laces. Right, so the bar is over, sort of maybe the bottom of my laces. Right, or just around the balls of the feet. Okay, and then we're going to be getting butt and shoulders to rise together, back to that power position, or back to that hang position, right? Haven't brought the chest up yet. And now I'm going to be keeping that bar close and raising that chest up to power position, and then we're going to be launching. So you see on that one, it kind of matters, right? All those positions along the way. If I let this bar go out here on the way up, right, now I'm on my toes a little bit, right? The weight of the bar is going to be pulling me forward. I'm going to have to meet it out here. Conversely, if I also do this too much, right? Now I've got no power left in my legs, right? So I want to keep the angle the same. Okay? So the whole combo looks like this. I'm going to go from the top, power clean from the top, then from the knee, reset, and then from the floor, touch. Okay, we'll touch with, if you had plates, just to the shin if you're just practicing, or if you have an empty bar. Yeah, so it's every minute on the minute for 12 minutes. That's a pretty quick turnaround. So if you're trying to add weight every minute as you go on a 3-position clean, it's going to be pretty tight to be changing the weights every one. You're going to kind of run out of time, or you could. So you might be sort of staying at something medium heavy once you get there. I'm just trying to repeat it. I don't want you to fall off the clock, right? So the point of today is not to be going so heavy that you can't keep up. It's a minute and a half before you do your next set. You know, because you just finished changing the weights and all of a sudden it's already the minute, and then you take a while to get ready to go, and then we kind of lose track of the thing, and then it takes 15 minutes to do a 12-minute thing. Keep up with the clock. That's kind of the point of it. Yeah, so for some you might just warm up a little bit before we start, stay at the same weight, see if you can kind of do that. Dumbbell and kettlebell people are going to have to do probably that, right? We're going to have to figure out a weight or a number of reps that's good for you. Yeah, but if you can build up and you have a little bit of time, for most I'd say if you have a bar, you're probably building up for maybe half of it, and then if you notice yourself running out of time, pick a weight that's challenging and stay there for the rest, right? Yeah, dumbbell stuff is going to be single arm, and you're going to do more reps, right? So it would be pretty easy for me to do one from here, one from the knee, and one from the shoulder, right? And then, or at least with this weight, you might have a weight that's reasonable for that. We kind of had 2 on each side, so 2 from the high hang with not much hinge, right? You could also do this one from the outside. I don't like that one as much. I find it turns into a curl a little bit more. I like when I go between the legs here, I find that I end up using my legs and keep my arms straight a little longer. When I do this kind of here, I see people end up just kind of curling it up, right? But you can, depending on how much you need to hinge over. Usually, always you need to hinge over a little bit, or else it's going to hit you. So 2 from high, 2 from more of a hinge, so above the knee. Whenever I'm doing a power clean with a dumbbell, it ends up being you kind of curl it up a little bit, but I don't want to just use my arm. I don't want to just be going like this. See how my kind of legs didn't do much there? I want to use my extension and jump. And then also think about when I kind of demoed that barbell, how it didn't go out there. I'm trying to get the barbell to go up this way, same with the dumbbell, right? The shortest distance to my shoulder, jump and shrug, get it to the shoulder. What I don't want to do is kind of do that, right? There's a long way, or an extra distance that it needs to, right? And from the ground, same idea, right? When I get to the floor, still want to have my back position like this. I don't want to be reaching down like this. So butts low, slow start. Okay, so what we kind of have as a little guide is two from the high hang with the right, 2 from the medium with the right, the hang, and 2 from the ground with the right, and then you switch and you can do 2 from the high hang with the left, 2 from the knee with the left, 2 from the ground with the left. If you have a weight that's reasonable for that. We were kind of just guessing that might be a good number of reps that can kind of keep you up with the clock, but also challenge you a little bit. But yeah, if that's easy for you, you got a pretty light dumbbell for yourself, you could be doing 5 on the right and 5 at each position on the way down. So you end up doing 15 reps on the right and 15 reps on the left. Play around with it. You might have to maybe start with 2, and then if that's kind of too easy, you're done in 20 seconds and you're completely recovered, and you could just do this for an hour straight without kind of getting tired. Let's make it a little tougher. Yeah, so just play around with your reps. You can adjust that as you go in the 12 minutes, but same idea with the barbell. Keep up with the clock. Don't do 45 seconds of dumbbell work, and that you can't pick it up at the minute again, right? So I'd rather you do about 35 seconds of work maybe, so that we have about 25 seconds of rest, and that you're following the clock exactly, okay? Kettlebell takes usually a little bit more skill to kind of get comfortable cleaning it up to the shoulder and landing in that front rack, right? So what we usually want to land in the front rack for a clean is knuckles are under my chin, my elbows down on a 45, and the weight of the kettlebell is going to land here on this kind of softer part, so that I'm landing in this little quarter squat. So when I hinge like a kettlebell swing, I keep it close, and it turns around and lands on this spot here. So I can right? If I do a little bit of a squat with it, doesn't smash on me so much. Okay, same idea, same positions. You're always at the top of a dumbbell or kettlebell. You might not be able to stay so vertical. You might need to hinge a little bit. And then the second one's from the knee, and then the third one's from the ground. Same idea, play with your weights, your reps, unless you have different weights at home. But the big thing about the strength today is keeping up with the clock. Okay, WOD. I went over that way more than I thought I would. WOD 10 rounds for time. We'll see about a time cap. I might add one later. I want to see how all this goes, right? 7 handstand push-ups is usually a number of handstand push-ups that people, if you're good at handstand push-ups, you can get 7 in a row, at least for a little while, but 10 rounds is going to add up. Imagine doing 70 handstand push-ups. But you get a big break before you do them. Obviously you're running, but you're not using your shoulders very much when you're running. So heart rate's high. So you're going to do 7 handstand push-ups. Those ones can be kipping, they can be box ones, they can be strict, they can be shortened range of motion. So kipping means kicking up. Okay, it could also go strict, but I probably wouldn't be able to last as long. I don't have a map here. Right, so those won't be able to be as high intensity, right? So if I go kipping, I should be able to do 7 in a row unbroken, be able to get on the next thing, be able to get on the next thing, and be able to do the workout faster. If I go strict and I make it really hard on myself and I fail after 2 or 3, and then I gotta stand there and shake it out for a while before I can go again. I'm getting a good shoulder pump, but I'm not really getting that intensity that we're after. So try to play around with it. So if I put a couple mats there, a couple towels or pillows underneath my head, so say I can't do a handstand push-ups all the way down, I'm gonna put usually we use ab mats in the gym, but we don't have any left here. But I'm gonna add a couple mats, books, something soft for my head, and then reduce my range of motion a little bit so that I have something to aim for. So I always want to tuck something, so I'm gonna go down, tap the mat, head through at the top, right? Or kipping the same way. That was weird with no mat. So play around with it. If you have, you could also make this kind of one sometimes you see in the gym. You know, people start with their handstand push-ups and then 2-3 rounds into this workout, they have to go and add a mat because they're losing their intensity. That's also possible. A little bit harder to kind of score it, but often people want to work at the difficulty level. They want to work on their handstand push-up. They want to get that new skill, keep getting them from the ground. But then there's a point in the workout where they're just stuck. They're not getting anywhere. That's when you go and you add a mat or a pillow or whatever. You got towels underneath your head. Okay, people that don't have a handstand push-up, Usually box handstand push-ups are what we're using in the gym to kind of mimic that vertical press, right? Body weight, but still pressing this way and not like a push-up where we're pressing this way, where we want to be pressing up. So what we got to do is get our butt up so that we're pushing, we're kind of angled down like this. It doesn't work into the wall because you usually end up kind of pushing into the wall. Your feet don't slide up the wall as you go. That's why we use these pike push-ups more often, right? So we're getting into this position, right? The steeper I get, the more body weight I'm using, right? And I'm gonna get my head to line up to my fingertips and my head through. Okay, if I wanna make this easier, to walk out here, and I still wanna get upside down. What I don't wanna do is do this. Right, because I'm just doing a push-up. Right? I'm just doing a chest push-up like I would do on push-ups, right? I'm trying to keep this as steep as possible. So if I want to be kind of pushing myself that way, right, towards my butt. Okay, if I want to make it even harder, I can raise these blocks up. I can also put my feet on the bench. Right, so if you're pretty strong upper body, you just don't have the upside, the skill to get upside down. Try to put your feet on the box, get your butt up, get as vertical as the upper body as you can. Maybe you video yourself and take a look at that. Closer to the hands, closer to your feet as possible. Head all the way to the floor or a soft mat underneath you. Try to make these pretty hard. Especially because, like I was saying, you get a good break from the shoulders. V-ups and running are not shoulder movements, so you should get some time, so you can kind of challenge yourself a little bit on them. But yeah, with 10 rounds, you might add up. It might add up. So yeah, V-ups. V-ups are always a good one. A little bit hard to keep looking good through whole wads, though, right? Usually we're not doing them too much in wads. There's something that looked really good at first, and then all of a sudden by the end they look really sloppy, right? But we don't have we can't do toes to bar, we can't do GHDs, and we're sick of doing sit-ups and stuff, so we're gonna do, and also, yeah, you might get a little sore from your sit-up yesterday, but you're gonna be going lay down, hands and feet touch the ground. Okay, what we're trying to do is get everything to meet in the middle, and that means getting my back off the ground, right? So often you see people just do this, and their back stays completely on the ground. They just bring their legs up. I have to bring my back off the ground as much as I can, and reach up as high as I can, trying to touch further up my leg, right? So I don't want to just be touching my knees, I want to touch my toes, or touch my ankles, or reach up. Get the back off the ground. If you can't do that, you can always scale it down to more of a tuck. So hands off the ground, or hands and feet are on the ground, and then I'm going to reach here. Okay, I would try to do the sort of the legs going straight up version until you basically can't bring your upper body off the ground at all. And then you're running to hopefully a 100-meter mark or a 50-meter mark twice, or whatever you got marked out. Maybe you got short little runs in your backyard or whatever. It's pretty short. Maybe it's like a minute of running, not even. And then you get back, and it should be some pretty quick rounds. It's going to add up, but let's see let's see how far you get. I'm going to try not to time cap it. Just adjust your difficulty. Like if you looks like you're going to need a time cap, maybe make those handstand push-ups a little easier, make the V-ups a little easier. Yeah. Okay. So have fun. Sorry it was so long.